In 1980, Frisco was a small town just beginning to grow, with 3,500 residents and one public high school. A little more than 40 years later, there are more than 200,000 residents in the city of Frisco and 12 high schools in Frisco ISD. And as the city has grown, so too has its diversity. Texas's average Asian demographic makes up nearly 5% of its population and is its third largest minority. But in Frisco, about 22% of the population is Asian, more than 4 times the rest of Texas. Asians are the city's largest minority demographic, and of that 22.4%, 14% are made up by South Asian and Indian immigrants. It's something that the mayor has definitely taken notice of.
Frisco, being the fastest growing city, over the last 10 to 20 years, almost everyone who lives here is from somewhere else. You don't meet a lot of native Frisconians very much anymore. And what we hope is that everyone, when they do get here and they decide to call Frisco home, that they feel safe and they feel welcomed.
To reflect the influx of these immigrants, the growing infrastructure has adapted. Nearly every intersection has Asian groceries or restaurants, with more continuing to develop.
When there are restaurants, when there are businesses specific to that culture, there's a community there because there's a need, right?
I'm glad that they, especially in this now that they have the Asian grocery here, which is more convenient for me to purchase the certain type of food that I want.
To help make the city more comfortable for immigrants to Frisco, the mayor has started inclusivity initiatives.
And so we've done a lot of efforts as a city to try to do that. So I started the Frisco Inclusion Committee years ago. This was started back in late 2017, and really its job is to make people feel welcome. And so part of that is celebrating everyone's, basically celebrating that diversity, so we can learn from each other, that we're not afraid to actually light a Christmas tree at Christmas and say Merry Christmas, but we also light a menorah, in the same park. And we celebrate Holi, we recognize Ramadan.
The price of property in Texas is also far lower than other states, along with gas prices and the overall cost of living.
That is one big difference from what I see in India to the US, is that the quality of life has changed dramatically. And even for the matter of my move from San Francisco to Frisco has actually changed that further, even because the cost of living in San Francisco is definitely higher than what I see it in Frisco.
But according to Mayor Cheney, there are 2 other factors in families moving to Frisco.
The number one reason to move is going to be school district and safety. And of course, top school district, we're one of the safest communities in the country, really. So those are really attractive tools. Kind of on top of that, we've kind of had momentum that built, within that community, as far as, some mosques and temples that were built in Frisco that attracted some families to be nearby, places of worship. And so over the last 5 to 10 years, it's really become an attractive destination.
Reporting for WTV, I'm Varun Saravanan.